Mariam and Erin, I would love to hear about your decision to work with the singer Twana Patrick, who sings a Shaker hymn while the dancers are arriving, and during the piece. Can you talk about that singing element a little bit?
Erin, you want to tell the Twana story?
Yeah. Mariam and I we work within concepts. So we have these concepts, and then, like she said, there's a lot of improvisation that happens in order to arrive to fulfill the concept. And so the sound and the music was something we hadn't decided upon, hadn't made a fixed decision on what we were going to do. And I had a lot of contacts in the music community, and when I arrived in Louisville, I was meeting with all different, these kind of more contemporary musicians, and I was, people were sending me samples of music and sound, because I was actually wanting someone live to come in and maybe, I knew it would be helpful at certain points to have some music and sound to kind of inspire the movement in the body. And I don't even know, but we really hadn't considered necessarily using the traditional songs, and we were, looking at local musicians. We always like to work locally within the communities that we're working within. And
there was like a weird thing that had happened where the village had discontinued their music program. Like they used to have the traditional songs being sung in the meeting house very regularly, but then the person who ran the music program had left like maybe 3 or 4 months before.
Right.
And so we couldn't find any of the people who had been singing in the meeting house because the director of the music program was gone and nobody seemed to know what had been going on. So that's what happened with that idea.
And okay, and then so the morning of, we were basically like, all right, well, I guess we've got some, we're gonna have to do some hand clapping and some foot stomping, like I was talking.
I was like, I can sing Simple Gifts, whatever.
Maybe we'll put it in some sound in post, we'll figure it out. And there at the meeting house was Twana. And she came to me and she said, I heard you were interested in possibly having a musician. And I said, yes. And she said, well, I know this. She was one of the singers that was on the tour, when the tours would come through, she was one of the performers and the singers that would share the traditional hymns.
She was just sitting on the steps of the meeting house at like 7 a.m. or something, just being like, I heard you were looking for a singer.
Yeah, and I don't know and the other thing is, we were also so immersed in that, we're not like, how'd you know? I don't even think that was a question we asked her. We were just like, yes. Well, I have availability between this time and this time and this time and this time. We're like, great, could you come in? And then took her upstairs and, fitted her in one of the extra clothes that we had, costume options that we had. And it just she came in, and honestly, thank goodness, because after we came in, we had that beautiful time outside where we started and meditated and kind of took in that, okay, this day is going to begin and this is the environment we're within. And then we come in and we people are sizing up the meeting, and we get dressed and then come down and people are stretching. And it was, I think, within the first section when we really started breaking down the movement sections and the durational, we were timing out phrases. She just came in and started belting out these songs. And I think chills went up my spine. And I think it was a really important activation, and it really helped bring all the performers into the room together. And I was just so grateful that there she was, and bringing the history into the room, bringing those songs, which were so important to achieving these different states of consciousness, the vibration of that, the vibration of music, and she brought it in, and then I think everyone was like, okay, it's on, and I really am so grateful for her to have appeared.
I think it's one of my favorite parts of the film, where her voice sort of rings through the space. It's really a beautiful dimension.